Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is January the 16th, Thursday, and we've had some fairly significant earnings come in this morning. Morgan Stanley hit it out of the park this morning with their earnings. We'll get to that in a minute, but their trading revenue came in, and that stock is up. A number of the financials are up this morning. TSM came in this morning and had some outstanding news, so they're up significantly as well. If we look at the overall markets, you can see the Dow is down, but the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are both up as we head into the morning. If we take a look back here at the Yahoo Finance app, and starting from the top, scrolling across, you can see that crude is down slightly, just 25 cents. It fell a little bit more earlier, but it's coming back. There's talk about crude sanctions now with Trump coming in and the administration change, which is just days away. So I think that could be one of the things putting price pressure on crude and having it increase like it has been over the last, during the week, this week. And then we look at the VIX. The VIX was actually down yesterday, and now it is up slightly, just 0.06. So down in the 16s, which is where we want to see it. The NASDAQ futures are up, and if we scroll down through the list in health and retail, you can see that there's not a lot going on in terms of health and retail and movement. The numbers, whether they're red or green, are relatively small this morning. But what you will see is as we get down into oil for the most part is in the red pre-market with a few exceptions, but mostly in the red. I think that will change as we move through the day. But we have had a pretty good run on oil over the last couple of days. So we'll have to see what crude does in terms of movement and whether it gets back up above that $80 a barrel crude future price point. We turn our attention down to the tech sector, and you can see I added a new name this week based on some research I've been doing, and that was Applied Materials, and they're up significantly this morning. They've had a pretty bad year overall, but it looks like they may be starting to turn, and so it's one that I'm starting to follow now. Then we've got NVIDIA and NVDL. Both of those are up and in the green this morning. Micron's up again. You've got your cybersecurity companies, CrowdStrike, CrowdStrike, Net, and Palo Alto all up. We scroll down further. Microsoft is up $10 yesterday, only a buck today, but it could rise further. But it's getting back to that 430 range. So that's kind of its sweet spot is in between the 415 and 430 range. So I think we're kind of seeing a peak there until we get to earnings and get some positive earnings news. And then as we scroll down further, the big mover here from or of the morning session anyway, Lam Research is up as well, oddly. But the big mover is at the bottom, and that is TSM. TSM had some great results. They're up $12 pre-market, so that's going to bring them up into the 220s again. So that was a steal the other day at 200, going into earnings. And then we've got Google down in the pre-market, oddly enough. NVIDIA's up. We have Meta down as well. Could be an interesting acquisition. Meta had a great day yesterday, and it should be well positioned. A lot of uncertainty coming up with this whole TikTok thing on the 19th and the decision on whether to ban it in the U.S. or allow it to be bought by someone in the U.S. Either way, I think Meta and Google are going to come out ahead in this. If it gets banned, they're going to really come out ahead. But and Meta more than Google, in my opinion. But they both should do very well. And we'll have to wait and see what happens there. It could get postponed. There could be a decision. Lots of unknowns and uncertainty there. As we move down into financials, we've got SoFi up this morning. It's had a couple of great days, up $1 yesterday. That was a big day. Although it had fallen back in the last week or so quite a bit, it is now coming back, as most of the financials have and are. There is a little bit of red on the screen here. MTB down after earnings today, so that's interesting. One of the first regional banks to report, and they are in the red in the pre-market. We saw JPM yesterday. Morgan Stanley reported this morning. They're up. Again, they had a great day yesterday. So they're not going to have a gangbuster day usually 2 days in a row. So they got lifted with the likes of Goldman and others. Goldman up slightly today as well. But Morgan came out with great results, and they are up in the morning session. So that's where we are today on the 16th. Good luck with your trades. And if you're liking these videos, hit the like